Kenny Toyota is trying to hold on to the inside position right now. Here comes the Budweiser, though, looking for Bear as he cuts across the infield as well and tries to get out in front of the Kenny Toyota.
He should have that inside lane in the position that he's in right now quite easily.
The Bud's got the middle. Lane 2 right now is the Toyota, and then the Atlas in lane 3. There's the Squire Shop picture.
Good positioning on the part of the Budweiser. That's turnabout is fair play, my friends.
We don't see the Tempest right now. It may have gone dead in the water. We'll have to wait and see. Under the 30-second mark. Budweiser has the inside. Lane 2 is the Toyota, Kenny Toyota. Atlas is in lane 3. Squire Shop lane 4. Way outside is the American Speedy Printing with Jack Schaefer Jr. 10 seconds. Approaching the exit buoy. John?
I say it's still a little bit early at this point. They're going to have to really get after it a little bit late here.
Here we go. Good start by all the boats. On the inside is the Budweiser. Next to him, the Kenny Toyota and the Squire and the Atlas van lines. And lane 3 as they head for the south turn. Here we go. There's what the Squire is showing us. It's on the outside. We'll identify the boats now as they go into the south turn.
That Crossbell's doing real well down there in that first turn.
But Budweiser on the inside, he's got the best position right now, and watch him accelerate now with that pretty good water in the back chute. Kenny Toyota slowed way down. Squire Shop appears to be way back. There's the second place boat, the Atlas van lines. 5-second lead so far. That's the Bud on the inside, the Atlas on the outside. From Sky King going down on the back chute here on the first lap. Looks like Chip is going to push the Budweiser as much as he can. He's staying right in there with him. Budweiser with a good position in first place, holding on in lane 1. Chip Hanauer on the outside, the 29-year-old native out of Seattle. His second year with the Atlas, and he's holding on to second place. Third place, American Speedy Printing. Fourth place, the Kenny Toyota. Completing lap number 1, the Budweiser. Jim Trumpbell. 3-second lead for the Bud over the Atlas.
Chip really did an excellent job getting that Budweiser boat through this upper turn up here. It looks like he picked up a little bit on the Atlas.
American Speedy Printing is just going by the Kenny Toyota. Lap speed, 130 miles per hour for the Budweiser. Squire Shop in last place right now. 5th place, way back. Down in the south third, the Budweiser still holding on to first place. Jim Trumpbell. Second place, the Atlas. Chip Hanauer just kind of sitting and waiting to see how hard the Budweiser tries to go. Of course, as we said earlier, he has got to win this race. He needs 400 points to get into that final without going through the consolation. Hanauer staying right with him in the back of the spray, in the back of that booster tail. The lead now only 2 seconds for the Budweiser. They're running high. They're running away from the field. Kenny Toyota way back in third. American Speedy Printing has dropped back to 4th place. Toyota back into 3rd place again. Good race for 3rd and 4th right now. The Budweiser swing a little wider this time now, forcing Chip to come out a little wider in the Atlas van line. Completing lap number 2, the Budweiser and the Atlas van line. Hanauer just sitting out there waiting to see if the Bud might break. Meanwhile, we've got a good race coming out of the north turn. It's Ron Snyder of the Kenny Toyota in 3rd place, holding the inside position against Jack Schaefer Jr. in the American Speedy Printing. Lap speed 126 miles per hour for the Budweiser on lap number 2. 5th place, the Squire Shop completing lap number 2. Across the start and finish line. Meanwhile, on the backstretch along the log route, here's the other race we talked about, the 3rd and 4th place. Snyder on the right in the Kenny Toyota, and American Speedy Printing on the outside. Jack Schaefer Jr., the winner in Pasco last week. The Budweiser still out in front. He's got a 2-second lead over Chip Hanauer in the Atlas. So Chip is pushing the Bud, pushing them along as they go into the north turn here on lap number 3. Still a great race for 3rd and 4th place as they begin the backstretch. The Budweiser you see in the north turn. There's your battle for 3rd and 4th. Snyder on the inside, Schaefer on the outside. Looks like maybe the American Speedy Printing, the old Fidelco, has a slight edge from the camera angle that we can see. The Budweiser completing lap number 3. Atlas van line slowing down. We got smoke coming out now out of the stacks of the Atlas van lines, rather. And Chip is going dead in the water of the main straightaway.
Kenny Toyota is going dead in the upper turn.
And now Kenny Toyota dead in the north turn. As you said, we've got 2 boats gone dead in the water. That puts Jack Schaefer in the American Speedy Printing in second place if he can go past Chip Hanauer. Chip is still going, barely down the main chute. So this is now a battle for third and fourth now. The Squire Shop passes the Kenny Toyota as he goes into the water on the top of the main straightaway. So the Budweiser with a big lead. The American Speedy Printing in second place. The Squire Shop moving along in third place. Chip Hanauer trying to get his boat going again. Ron Snyder, I think he's out of the cockpit waving that he's all right. There's Chip struggling along. Oh, my.
I really suspect as well as Chip's going, it'll probably get black flags next time around to just go ahead and shut the thing off because he's setting up an awful lot of real bad rollers out there for the other guys.
The Budweiser on lap number 4 right now. Jim Kropfeld. Second place, Jack Schaefer Jr., the old Fidelco. That's the American Speedy Printing. RB Bob Taylor's boat now. And Squire Shop in third place, as you see, the rooster tail of the American Speedy Printing as they're going down the back chute, past the log boom, down the turbulent part of the course down there.
It appears at the south end of the course down there that Chip has driven the boat back into the pit area.
There it is. Chip has gotten it off the course and out of the way. One more lap now for the Budweiser. He is on his final lap, and he's simply taking it easy. Second place, about to complete lap number 4, is the American Speedy Printing. Yeah, look at this. The speed, lap 4, only 102 miles per hour for the Budweiser. Why not? Save the engine. He doesn't have that challenge anymore by Chip Hanauer. Jim Kropfeld, APBA Hall of Champions member, national champion 6 times in the limited division. Just an outstanding driver. Sometimes they say they have to let him go out a little later than usual because he drives the boat so hard. They have run out of gas in the past. They did in Houston last year in the World Championship. But he's got the lead right now, really taking it easy. I hope not too easy. As he goes down the back chute, he's about halfway down. There's the third place boat, Earl Hall, and the Squire Shop. That's the south turn as he rattles around and goes past all the yachts down there on the east side of the course. Budweiser approaching the entrance buoy now as he heads into the north turn. The American Speedy Printing, Jack Schaefer, he's got his foot down to the floor trying to catch up with him. Third place for the Squire Shop. 3 boats running right now. 11-second lead for the Budweiser and Jim Kropfeld. So it looks like Jim is going to get those badly needed 400 points as Jack Schaefer Jr. in that boat. The American Speedy Printing should get second place. And here comes the Budweiser. Jim Kropfeld, winner of Heat 2B, 400 points, and he needed them so badly. Jack Schaefer Jr., second place, the American Speedy Printing. There he is, and third place coming up. There's Jack Schaefer. And third place, the Squire Shop, just completing the course now, the 5th lap. And that's going to do it for Heat 2B. 3 boats finished. The Budweiser, American Speedy Printing, and the Squire Shop. Lap speed, only 99.5 miles per hour on that last lap as expected. John, Steve, Mike. Oh, I wonder what's going through those people's minds right now. Jim Lucero and Chip Hanauer.
Indeed, you put a little pressure on the Budweiser like you have to do. You don't count on being the guy that breaks yourself.
Yeah, he did the right thing. It just broke.
That's a calculated gamble that they took that Jim Lucero said they were going to do when they went out.
That DNF really hurts them on international point standings. It kind of turns everything back around again.
Kenny Toyota, Ron Snyder, winner in the first race of the year, Lake of the Ozarks. He's out at the beginning of the main straightaway, out almost directly in front of us here at the start-finish line. So, Jim Kropfeld must be breathing a little bit easier now. Remember, the Atlas had 5 bullets, as Jim Lucero calls it, 5 engines to work with today. Budweiser had 3 to work with. They had one already saved and ready to go for the final heat. Likewise for the Atlas camp. That's the general procedure. Dave Culley, the crew chief, now on the boat.
Taking a look quickly, gentlemen, at the point spread now, with the Atlas and the Budweiser each having 400 apiece for the first 2 stand-ins in their heat. They are now in the final by assurance. The Speedy Printing, with 169 previously, now has 300 plus 169, 469. Let's go over now to Lou Gellis.
Okay, Chip Hanauer here with us. Chip, exactly what happened with your boat? Do you know yet?
I don't know exactly whether it could have been a propeller or it could have been motor. We have to get up in the trailer and look first.
Okay, judging from the reaction when you were driving the boat, how was it handling before you suddenly went dead?
It was handling pretty nice. I think it was pulling the Budweiser a little bit maybe, but I don't know how hard he was trying. But both felt pretty good.
Okay, now things are completely turned around from what they were earlier in the day.
Yeah. I don't know if we're in the final or not, you know. Maybe Budweiser and us have to run in the consolation race to see who goes into the final. That'd be interesting.
That hasn't happened in a long time.
Yeah, that would be real interesting.
Okay, that's the story with Chip Hanauer and the Atlas van lines. They're bringing the boat in now. We'll check to see what's wrong with the boat or what happened and come back to you in a few minutes.
Well, Chip won't have to go into consolation. Neither will the Budweiser, it appears. With 400 points each, they will make the final with 300 points each. The Frank Kenny Toyota still in the hunt. So is the American Speedy Printing. Rather, the Speedy Printing has 469 points. And with a 300 and a 169 in its earlier heat, as I mentioned before we went to that interview. So those are your 4 out of this flight that'll be in there. Budweiser won't have to go to a consolation either, which in a way works out kind of nicely, Steve Reynolds, for the other fellows who thought, my gosh, if Budweiser goes in here, what chance have we?
Oh, yeah, that opens it up quite a bit. Now we've got the winner of the consolation race who's going to be seeded into the final along with the Miss Renault. So that gives us Atlas, Budweiser, American Speedy Printing.
Squire shot.
No. Let's see here.
Squire in yet?
No, the Squire has 225 points.
Well, 450 though.
Oh, she has 450.
450 now, yeah.
Right. She has 450. So your boats are the Speedy, the Squire, the Atlas, the Budweiser automatically. The Kenny Toyota still in the hunt, but must go into the consolation to do it.
We've got the Renault in
The
there.
Renault
And
is
we've got
seated in there.
We've got the
5
Renault
boats already.
seated in there. So the one thing we don't know is who will be number 6.
That's the winner of the consolation heat.
That's right.
An even better question, who's going to be in the consolation race?
Well, we've got a couple of boats that deliberately laid out, so we're going to see a little traffic come up now for this consolation. So this is kind of interesting. One thing I will mention, too, is the American Speedy Printing is doing exactly what it did in Tri-Cities. It's almost like a game plan. They went out, they finished their first heat down in the money. They finished their second heat much improved and showed better speed. And then they moved into that final heat and were there when they had to be there. So I think Jack Schaefer, it can't be counted out. The Speedy Printing is moving right along the game plan as they had in the Tri-Cities.
That's right, Michael.
As we take a look, Steve, at the start of the heat again on the replay, we check and find out what positioning was what, and we found the Budweiser on the inside. Chip Hanauer really didn't get a chance to size him up and put him where he wanted him. In fact, Chip was a little bit on the outside himself. He got himself in traffic to have to finish in the or start in the third or fourth lane. When they came across the line, take a look at who it was. Squire, the Kenny Toyota, and the Atlas, and the Budweiser came smoking through that traffic on the inside.
Well, the Budweiser, with all those cubic inches in that big Griffin motor, they have tremendous bottom end torque, which allows them to accelerate quickly. That was something that became very, very obvious in the Budweiser back in 1979 when they first brought it out. That it had the ability to accelerate very quickly.
There you see what Earl Hall was seeing as he checked the Atlas van lines off to his left. The Atlas, there it is, cutting over with the Budweiser in the traffic as the Speedy Printing, whoop, kind of closed the door on him, didn't they? But as they broke out of the turn, the Budweiser with that acceleration was out front. Now, what we're going to see is the fact that the Squire shop got into a little traffic. This is what we call convergence rooster tails. Watch this. You get in there all of a sudden and you visit the car wash. Watch what happens as you try to drive into the wakes, and bingo. The last time that happened to our King camera, we didn't see a picture again, but we survived. Obviously, we made some progress.
Look at that.
Sunlight.
All right, we're making progress, guys.
We live and learn, don't we?
We had a great duel going on back in the 4th and 5th race, and the Frank Kenny Toyota, as you see on the inside with Ronnie Snyder, was dueling with the Speedy Printing. Look at that. Boy, that's great side-by-side racing, is it not?
Oh, that's tough racing.
That's two good drivers, too.
Those boats are virtually identical. You know, both of them used to be conventionals. Now one's a cab over, but they both have the same set of sponsons on them.
And the one thing you have to mention, too, is that they're running 3rd and 4th, which means there's some slop water out there that they're running in, some troughs, and they managed to hang in there. That's the Atlas that you just saw going dead in the water. Bingo. There goes the Kenny Toyota out on the roof tail.
Jack Schaefer strikes again.
Yeah. That's called shutting the door.
It sure is.
That's called shutting the door.
That was a legal maneuver.
Yes, it was. It was very legal.
In Jack's defense, that was just good, hard, close driving. You really didn't do anything illegal there at all.
No.
You have to leave in a lane, which is 20 feet. And there was a couple of lanes there, really.
Yeah.
You mean it's 20? All these years I thought it was about 10, John.
You told me 7.
Well, I was being nice for the camera.
Gentlemen, unofficially, Atlas, Budweiser, Squire, Speedy, and Renault qualified now for the final, and the 6th and question mark slot will be decided shortly. As a matter of fact, will be decided at 4:10, about 40 minutes or so from now, as we get into that consolation race. In the old days, consolation races were just sort of the place where you put the guys who didn't do so well earlier in the day. Today, obviously, with that slot in the consolation race going to the final, that's a very, very important competition. Tony Ventrella has a report for us now. Tony?
The winner of this latest heat, a man who had to win it, Jim Kropfeld. First, a brief presentation. Ward, go ahead.
Jim, it's a pleasure for Seafair to present to you and the Budweiser this trophy for winning Heat 2B.
Oh, thank you. That's a great honor. It's the first thing I've won here in Seattle. I hope I can keep on going and win the last one of the day, too.
Let me move you over a little closer, Jim. The pressure was on today, obviously. A roller coaster day for you. First you're down, now you're back up. You had to win that race, and you did. And great strategy, I might add.
Well, Chip wasn't pushing too hard for the start on the inside, so I thought I might as well take it and go for it. I was going to start on the outside and try to dust them around the first turn, but they left the inside for me, so I went for it. But after we got going, he pushed me pretty hard. I understand we went 130 the first lap, so that's pretty good.
Not too bad. So whatever problems you had earlier, obviously all of those were taken care of.
Well, I didn't have any problems here, but I was kind of lucky. I seen the Atlas break down, and right as he broke down, I broke a piece of my propeller, and I had to slow way down, and I was afraid I wasn't going to make it.
Any thoughts on the final at all? The water seems a little bit flatter than it was earlier. In fact, a lot flatter.
Well, it's a lot flatter. The water is really nice. The only problems that I've run into are the wakes from our own boats. You know, the wind and whatever kind of waves may be on the water themselves are just, there's no problem there whatsoever.
Well, Jim, congratulations again.
All right, thanks a lot.
Jim Kropfeld, who has won this latest heat and now is in the final, had to win it, did win it. What else can you ask for from a boat and from a